Hey there, everyone. It is August, a new month. Oh my gosh, this year's going by so fast. And it is time for a new TBR video. For those of you who are new to the channel, I'm Amanda R.N. Rockwell, and unlike a lot of booktubers, I don't make very large TBRs. No, usually only anywhere between 3 and 5 books, depending on the month. Which is also good because it means that if I end up smashing my reading goals, I can just go ahead to my bookshelf and pick up another random book. So, for the past couple months, I've been reading a couple volumes of manga along with various novels. For this month, I'm actually going to scratch the manga altogether. I'm not going to read a single one. I have way too many novels to get through, and I bought a lot of them in the last few months, and haven't bought any new manga, so I'm just going to ignore the manga for now and peck away at the novels. So I have planned 4 novels and part of one, I guess 4 and change. I'll explain that in more detail in a little bit. So I am continuing my marathon read of Anne Rice's Vampire Chronicles, and for this month I am on book number 9. It is Merrick. Merrick is the first book in the series that crosses over the Vampire Chronicles and the Mayfair Witches Chronicles. I originally had the 3 Mayfair Witches books, but I was not fond of them and wasn't going to pick them up again, so I just donated them to my local Goodwill some months ago. But the premise of this book is Merrick, the titular character, is actually Merrick Mayfair. She comes from the Mayfair family of witches. And this book is another one of those character origin stories in which David Talbot, if you've been reading the book so far, you know who I'm referring to and what's gone on with him. He is chronicling the lives of various vampire characters, and Merrick is the subject of this book. So the spine is broken on this, which tells me I actually did read it eventually at some point or another. But I can't remember I can't remember really anything about it. I'm hoping that's a good thing. Hopefully it's not like Till the Body Thief bad thing, because that would kind of suck. If you've seen my TBR video for July, then you know there is one book that I'm spreading out over a course of multiple months because this thing is a beast. And that is The Historian by Elizabeth Kostova. I've managed to finish the first part of the book, which puts me at chapter 25. I am at page 185 into the book out of 676 pages for this paperback format. And, I mean, it's an okay read. I'm not going to say too much about my opinions of it so far. I'll save most of that for the July wrap-up video, which is coming later on this week. But this is the book that is kind of like a side book because of how big it is and how much time it'll take to read. Not a priority. I'm just stretching it out over a period of multiple months. The protagonist of the book is telling the story of how she became involved with the truth surrounding Dracula and his connection to vampires. So the remaining 3 books I'm going to talk to you about, this is the exciting part for me, I think, because these books are, all 3 of them are authors that I have never read before. These are brand new. I've heard of them before, but this is my first time taking the dive in order to find out whether I like them or not. So the first of these 3 books I'm going to address is The Blade Itself by Joe Abercrombie. I've been meaning to wait to read Abercrombie's books until I had the entire First Law trilogy, which finally came into my bookstore, the whole box set at once, so I got it. And I actually didn't look into what's the blurb say on the back. Let's see. Lodgin Ninefingers' infamous barbarian has finally run out of luck. Caught up in one feud too many, he's about to become a dead barbarian, leaving nothing behind but bad songs and dead friends. Okay. Giselle Don Luthar, paragon of selfishness, has nothing more dangerous in mind than winning glory in the fencing circle. But war is brewing, and on the battlefield of the frozen north, they fight by altogether bloodier rules. Okay. Inquisitor Glokta, bit of a tongue twister there, cripple turned torturer, would like little more than seeing Giselle come home in a box. But then he hates everyone. Wow, okay, Glotka is already becoming an interesting character, and I'm just reading the blurb, okay. Cutting treason out of the heart of the Union, one confession at a time, leaves little room for friendships, and his latest trail of corpses could lead straight to the rotten heart of government, if he can just stay alive long enough to follow it. Grimdark indeed, holy shit, okay. Yeah, this is my first time reading the back cover copy, for real. Abercrombie is known as Lord Grimdark for a reason. That's like his actual Twitter handle is Lord Grimdark. I've actually been following him on Twitter for a little while now, and he's a pretty cool dude. He likes to interact with the people who share his posts and talk to him on social media. He's a pretty cool guy that way. And I mean, the First Law trilogy is a very well-praised series of books. And he's written all sorts of other books in this series as well. It's epic fantasy, grimdark fantasy, if the blurb on the back didn't give that away. So I am really, really intrigued to see if his writing style vibes with me. I hope so. I really hope so, because I really want to enjoy Abercrombie's stuff. Like, if I turn out not liking this book, I'm going to be so disappointed. The next author I'm going to be talking about is Brandon Sanderson, and this is his first published novel, Elantris. Brandon Sanderson is an epic fantasy author, though he has written young adult books, he has written science fiction books, he's written a lot of stuff since he first got published in 2005. And I thought there'd be no better place to start with his library of reading material than his first published novel. It wasn't the first one he wrote, but it was the first one he got published. And this is the 10th anniversary author's definitive edition, which says on here 10,000 words of bonus content. Nice. Let's see. Elantris was beautiful once. It was called the City of the Gods, a place of power, radiance, and magic. Visitors say that the very stones glowed with an inner light, and that the city contained wondrous arcane marvels. At night, Elantris shone like a great silvery fire, visible even from a great distance. Yet, as magnificent as Elantris has been, its inhabitants have been more so. Their hair a brilliant white, their skin almost a metallic silver, the Elantrians seemed to shine like the city itself. Legend claimed that they were immortal, or at least nearly so. Their bodies healed quickly, and they were blessed with great strength, insight, and speed. They could perform magics with a bare wave of the hand. Men visited Elantris from all across Ophalon to receive Elantrian healings, food, or wisdom. They were divinities, and anyone could become one. The Shroud, it was called. The transformation. It struck randomly, usually at night, during the mysterious hours when life slowed to rest. The Shroud could take beggar, craftsman, nobleman, or warrior. When it came, the fortunate person's life ended and began anew. He would discard his old, mundane existence and move to Elantris. Elantris, where he could live in bliss, rule in wisdom, and be worshipped for eternity. Eternity ended 10 years ago. That's not just the back cover copy. That is the legit prologue of the book. I've already read the first couple chapters. And the one thing I have to say is that if Elantris is Brandon Sanderson's weakest book, then I'm in for a treat with his other books, because I've after reading only 2 chapters, I am already so invested in this. Whew. I'm not going to say too much, because only 2 chapters in, I really don't know much, but what is there is just, it's chef's kiss level stuff, really. I'm so excited to read the rest of this book. I'll probably continue reading when I'm done recording this video, honestly. And now for the final book I have planned for August. A little bit of background. So I have a plan that to read at least one book by a Black author or another author of color every single month. And I started this last month with A Blade So Black by Ella McKinney. And I'll talk to you about what I felt about that book in my July wrap-up on Friday. But, so this month, it's not a book in a series. This is a single book, not connected to anything. I'm going to take a stab at, not a real stab, but you know what I mean, Octavia E. Butler and the book Kindred. This is her best-selling novel and probably one of her most well-known ones. It is very mild sci-fi, low-end sci-fi. So, the back cover copy says, Dana, a modern Black woman, is celebrating her 26th birthday with her new husband when she is snatched abruptly from her home in California and transported to the antebellum South. Rufus, the white son of a plantation owner, is drowning, and Dana has been summoned to save him. Dana is drawn back repeatedly through time to the slave quarters, and each time the stays grow longer, more arduous, and more dangerous until it is uncertain whether or not Dana's life will end long before it has the chance to begin. If that doesn't pull you in, I don't know what does. I'm not as much of a sci-fi person as some people. I prefer anything vampire related or fantasy related specifically. But I'm really curious to find out how the time travel gets dealt with, so to speak. So anyone who has seen like a sci-fi TV show or read sci-fi books that have time travel, you know that it could potentially go very right and it could potentially go very wrong. And I don't necessarily need an explanation as to how the time travel works, because that's not always the point of the book. And I don't think it'll be the point of this book. My main curiosity and concern comes from the implementation of the time travel. And whether it makes sense and is dealt with in a way that works. Because time travel is a very tricky thing. And especially if you're going to be dealing with possible repercussions on the present time. Like, this woman's going to get sent back in time, right? So that would have naturally some effects on the present, one would think. So I'm really curious as to how that's going to go. And I really hope to enjoy that book as well, because there's so many books by Octavia Butler that look so interesting. If I enjoy that book, you can bet your ass I'm going to be going out to the bookstore and buying as many more of her books as I can see, because yeah. These are the 4 books and change I'll be reading in the month of August. I look forward to seeing your thoughts in the comment section below. And with that, I would like to thank you all for watching this video today. I post a new one on Tuesdays and Fridays. Have a good one, and I'll talk to you later. Bye!